Hey, Naomi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. I did get your email and it's great.
Oh, okay. Good. I thought you might have. It's all a matter of timing, dear.
Well, you know I'm impatient.
No, I've never noticed that.
No, you never know that.
Why on earth would you ever think such a thing?
I thought those videos this morning was excellent.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that can be really helpful. You know, it's just kind of sifting through it all, finding, things that apply. And again, that's really only one approach. There's, so many different ways that you could go about, drawing the human head. And, everybody's got different ideas. So, usually what happens is you kind of learn a process and then you sort of adapt it, to your own particular needs from there. So, the more you're introduced to, the more choices you have, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh. Hey, Lawrence. How you doing? Jean, how are you? Susan's here now. Let's see. We have a Richard Johnson. Okay, is here now. All right, slowly but surely, we're getting here. Okay. Everybody's trying to finish up that lunch or make that afternoon cocktail that I suggested, I guess. That whole working with the blender thing. Wow. Okay. Anyhow, we're going to get rolling, and because it's about that time. Yep, it is. All right. So I was going to start showing some of the work that folks sent in and talk a little bit about that, and life in general, right? All right. So let's see. Now let's not put the Zoom thing on. All right. All right. So you should be seeing a photograph of a young woman. Is that correct?
Right.
Yep.
Yes? No?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Bob sent this in. Okay. And the reason that Bob sent it in is, I guess, well, and there's Bob. Bob, tell us why you sent this in.
Well, this is a work in progress, and I just started it yesterday. Basically, the charcoal version of it, but getting the proportions of her face are not are kind of a little bit beyond my reach at the moment. So I'll put it that way.
Okay, and then after watching that video this morning, what are your thoughts?
Oops, I lost you there. My thoughts are I'm going to recreate it on another piece of paper.
Okay, all right. And do you think that you'll try that method that we looked at this morning?
I will. I definitely will.
Okay, because let me show you something about that. All right, because you sent that to me, and I, rather than eating lunch, was just sitting here playing with a pencil, and I thought I would do this.
Oh, look at that. You captured her.
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, I think. Oh,
Yeah,
can-
I did in the second sketch, which is the one to the right, and that's using that process. But I was a little more meticulous about checking the proportions, and so I have her face a little narrower and a little more elongated, which it is,
Right.
uh, versus the first attempt, right, which I kept, building on. But again, the proportions were not quite right.
Pretty close.
I get some. It kind of looks like her, but not really. You know, it's a version with not quite as English and elongated looking face. Okay, but the construction over here, is beginning to look more and more like her proportions. So I would have.
Looking at the details of the one on the left, one of the things I was having problems with is the shape of her mouth, and
Yeah.
I think you captured it pretty neatly. I mean, just looking at that, I mean, the video that you showed us the other day about highlighting maybe certain particular areas of a face or an object,
Mhm.
like the nose and the eyes.
Right.
I think you're in the ballpark on it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks kind of somewhat like her. But yeah, I think the second one, if I develop that further,
Right.
would be more her proportion. Now, I want to point something out to you, okay? And you see it very clearly in this photograph, right? If you took and you divided her face in half, since she's really looking right at you, okay?
Yeah. And she's
You'll find,
tilted.
pardon?
And her head is kind of tilted.
Yeah, her head's slightly tilted, but not only that, the distance from that center line to this cheekbone is considerably wider than it is from the center line to this cheekbone. Okay. So again, she's got one of these faces that are not perfectly symmetrical.
But I mean, one of the things that kind of gets me is the fact that because her hair on the left side is draped over her eye,
Yes.
it kind of gives you the illusion that that the right side is broader than the left side. But I think you're right. I think there is some difference there.
There is. Yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah. If you take it and right here measure like to the beginning of her ear here, and you look at this distance across here, it's really just a little bit narrower than from the center point out to where the ear starts here. Okay. And it's a fairly subtle difference, but it's
It is.
Yeah, it's a difference.
It am what it am.
Yeah, and it does make a difference, when you're drawing it. If you try to even her out, yeah, you don't quite. It's not quite her. Okay. So yeah. So again, try a couple of sketches of her. And try to find those proportions. Once you really understand those proportions, then it will be easier to
Okay.
capture her. And, kind of like the same thing Casey Bow was saying the other day. It's like, okay, so you're looking at this drawing, and this drawing isn't my first attempt at this. It's maybe my 5th or 6th or 8th or 10th attempt at drawing this person, and this one worked out, but the other previous ones were valuable because I was learning. I was learning how what this person's head and face was like, and I was also developing my own ideas about how it was that I wanted to portray this image. And so again, after you do it, if it doesn't work out the first time, don't give up. Just keep going. And it's like each time that you do it, you're going to understand more about, drawing that person. Okay. So here's your drawing. There's what you sent in. Okay. And again, you're kind of getting there, but yeah. But yeah, it's, my comment about this drawing is, the proportions are out just a little bit. She feels a little round, a little wide. But the main thing is you haven't really developed, the planes and the form, right? And if that had a little more structure and form to it, then, it might feel a little closer. Okay?
Kidok.
Is my audio working?
It's whose audio working?
Gene Goldstein. Can you?
Yeah, I can
My
hear-
mic must not be working. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
On the left side of her face, if you look at it, the cheekbone looks wider than the right side, and the right side is the one that has that is really fuller than the left side.
it is.
That would change it that quite a bit.
Yeah, it would. He basically just kind of needs to narrow it right in there a little bit. And that would,
Widen the other side.
yeah, a little bit on both sides, really. It's a little straighter line, and the curve here isn't quite as full. It's a little narrow. It's
I think I might attack this with graphite rather than charcoal.
okay. Yeah, I mean, either one. I mean, you could take the drawing that you've got right here. Since it is charcoal, you could take it and begin to kind of chisel in some of those planes a little bit and see where it goes. I like charcoal because it is really flexible and you can keep working it and pushing it around, a lot like paint. Graphite, you can to a certain degree, but it's sometimes it's hard to get rid of, if you need to pull it back. So, but yeah, keep at it. Don't throw in the towel on it yet.
Oh, I won't.
Okay. And then, we've talked about this drawing, but I wanted to show everybody. This is a still life that you had done. Still really like this drawing. This is really nice. It's got a nice soft feel to it. And now this is a graphite drawing, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you seem to have more, maybe it's more patience or just generally more control with graphite.
I feel more comfortable with graphite than
Are
I
you?
do because I haven't used that much charcoal in my time.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, it's a drawing medium. Use the one that works for you. Okay. The one that you can control and you like how it handles. That's important. Again, this is a really kind of cute drawing, and that gesture with her hands is like a really common thing, in the Far East. Yeah. And then Lawrence kind of copied that with one of his drawings. We'll look at that in just a minute or two or three. There's our happy golden retriever. We all saw that guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's the
Saw him too.
yeah. Just kind of going through these, and yeah, again, I really like this drawing, Bob. You did a really nice job with that. It's
Thank
got
you.
a really lovely feel to it, just as it is. Okay. And then you sent in this, and this is something you're working on, right?
Right.
This is not a drawing, but it kind of applies to what we're talking about, earlier today. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot, Bob.
Okay.
Okay. So what is it about this painting right now that you think you could do better, or probably isn't working the way you want it to work right now?
I'm pausing here.
Okay.
I don't know. I sent you the picture as well, and I think I've got the direction of the face right, and I've got the expression on her mouth right, but something in there just doesn't feel right. As I mentioned to you earlier, it feels cartoony. This painting does. versus
And
realistic, more realistic than what it should be, or
Yeah.
so I'm struggling to figure out what the heck it is.
Well, I got this image. I didn't get the.
Oh, the original?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you might want to resend that to me.
I will resend that to you. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I haven't seen that part yet. So, okay, but just off the, top of my head, somebody mentioned the hand, and I think they're correct in the sense that,
And the right shoulder.
yeah, it's just the hand looks a little too small. Okay. The other thing I was going to mention to you, remember the paintings that we were looking at earlier during the week, and how, like with Richard Schmid, he doesn't always treat the human face equally. He may focus in, say, on this eye and like the, nose area, right?
Right.
And the rest of the face is there, but it's a little bit softer, right? And you've kind of started in that direction. You could probably soften this area a little bit more than you have.
What's that, on the right side of the face?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I can't see your pointer.
Oh, you can't? Okay. Anyway, the
There it is. I
eye
see it.
socket.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the eye socket over here. But
Uh-huh.
the main thing is, you see this edge right here?
Yeah, it's pretty edgy.
Yeah, I would soften that down just a tad. Okay. And that way the lines and the shapes and forms are a little bit sharper, like right in here. And even like up here in the hair, you could sharpen up some of that area, and that would pull that forward, right? And that would be there, but it would just kind of sit it back, and it would make the face feel a little more round. Okay?
Okay.
But again, I'll look at the reference that you sent, right? And if I had anything more to say, I'll send you an email about it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Skipping ahead, we have an eye, and Larry Lawrence had done a drawing similar to this, and I think it's in this mix, probably. But I went back in and, I just redid a drawing. And what I was trying to explain to him and to all of you is that, these lines above the eye, are not, straight lines. Because the eyelid is moving around a ball, you've really got to make it feel round, which means you might have to push, the curve, what you think you see the curve on that eye is, to really, again, emphasize the fact that it really is a round shape underneath it. Okay? Anybody got any questions about that?
Your eyeball's too dirty.
Our eyeballs what?
The eyeball is too dirty.
Dirty? Okay.
The white, he's talking about the white around the eye. It looks dirty.
Oh, okay. Well, in the first place, the white of your eye, it ain't even close to white. Okay. Not even in like really, really bright light. All right. It's a value, and it's usually quite a bit darker than most, people try to make it. Right. So, and if you're trying to get that to feel round, right, it can't be the same value here as it is there, You're going to have to change the value to make it feel like a round ball. So.
And also, the one closest to the coloring in the eye, would have light, not quite as light as the light shining in the pupil and the iris part, but it would be a little bit lighter, closer to the
Yeah,
iris of the eye.
Yeah, yeah,
That would
you,
help it,
yeah.
right there.
yeah. Usually, okay, not always.
No.
Yeah, it depends on the light, okay, and the angle of the light. Yeah, there's a lot of different factors there. But normally, when you look at, somebody's eye, yeah, generally it seems a little brighter, a little closer to the iris, along the edge of that iris, just because, again, it's a round spherical form, okay? And that part's getting a little more light and not turning away from the light quite as quickly, okay? I'm going to show you these. These are out of my sketchbook, okay? And this is the two heads over to the right. Those were from, her name is Dame Vera Lynn. She passed away. She was a singer, English woman, but she had a really interesting face, and I kind of liked, just her face. So I did a couple of sketches with her. And then the figure was, where did I get that? Can't really recall right offhand, but yeah, just a human figure. So I'm going to skip ahead because I'll come back to these. Oh, okay. There's Larry's eye. Okay. So you see what I was saying is that, he kind of just made like an almond shape, but it doesn't really feel kind of like it wraps around that shape or form. So you got to be kind of careful when you do that and really kind of push those curves a little bit. And when it comes to the inside of the eye and it kind of moves all the way around that ball, again, it's got to kind of move inward a little bit there. So, just look at those things a little bit more carefully. This is, same thing here. Again, this is another drawing by Larry Lawrence, as we all call him. And he's beginning to get some nice structure on the head, but the eyes, again, don't really feel that round. And, he could push that a little bit. And then, of course, the value on this ear seems to be maybe a little bit lighter than it needs to be, because it doesn't really fall into being in shadow as it moves around. Got anything else to say, Larry?
You keep picking on her ear.
Well, yeah, I mean, it hasn't changed since earlier in the week.
Well, you still got the same picture from earlier in the week.
I know. So send me a new picture if you've done something more to her, okay? But again, this is, and I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just using this as a way for people to think about.
No, you're not picking on me. You're making her feel bad.
Am I making her feel bad? She looks sad about it, really. And of course, this guy is really upset. He's having a hard day. Now, this is out of the Bridgman book. And if you want to get a good drawing book, I highly recommend Bridgman's Constructive Anatomy. He has a way of, really making a lot of these shapes and forms in the human head kind of graphic. But drawing that way and really looking for those landmarks and maybe pushing them, emphasizing them a little more, is actually a good way to learn, constructive anatomy and give your drawings a lot more of a solid three-dimensional feel to them. And actually, that's a pretty nice copy of a Bridgman head. So you did good with that, Larry.
Thank you.
I'm going to skip the painting. I'm going to go to June. June, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. So you had sent in these drawings earlier during the week, or maybe it was the end of last week. And this particular drawing, really, you know, it's like every time I go back and look at this drawing, I really like it. It's got a nice feel to it. You know, I mean, all the anatomy and everything, you know, okay, you could get picky about it. But again, just sort of the emotional reaction to it, it's a really nice, strong drawing. And I like what you've done with it. You know, you've kind of seen the core shadow moving up here, you know, the middle of the face, you know, and it changes value enough so that it begins to feel round because you get a little reflected light there. About the only thing I would say, you know, in that drawing that I probably would have done a little bit differently is you see right here along the arm, how you laid that tone in there. It's kind of distracting from the face, which is really the focal point. And I would have maybe taken, and the value is okay, but I would have just softened that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
yeah, so that the focus stays up here rather than, you know, right in here. Okay,
Okay.
you know, small thing. All right. Wanted to show another one of your drawings. Let's see which one. Yeah, it was this. Yeah, now this is ballpoint pen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I had shown a drawing, oh, maybe it was last week, the week before. And, you know, this guy had done a self-portrait and he had used, you know, an approach of cross-hatching. You know, so what you're doing is rather than trying to shade, you're laying down a series of sort of parallel lines. And then you're coming back at a slightly different angle and building up, you know, blocks and areas of value to, you know, to give you, you know, more of the sense of the form of the face. And, you know, ballpoint pen is actually a good medium to draw with. One, because you can't erase it. So you have to be a little more careful and a little more intentional about how to put those lines down. And when I want to do lineal drawings, a lot of times I'll use ballpoint pen or some kind of pen rather than a pencil. Because again, it forces me to slow down a little bit and really think about, you know, how I want to lay those lines in there. And the thing about those like felt tip pens or ballpoint pens, you're not, you know, you're not going to get a lot of variation out of it. You know, putting pressure on it doesn't do a lot. You know, it's pretty much so a consistent line. So you again, you know, it really forces you to think about how I want to put that line down there and what kind of surface is it moving across and what's the direction of the surface so that I can follow that form, you know, to get the effect that I want. Okay.
It looked like she was putting the curvature of the pen in the hat to show where it folded in and came out.
Yeah, and you know, and she handled a lot of that, you know, pretty nicely. I mean, it's not a flat drawing, you know, it's got
Right.
some roundness to it, which is not easy to, pardon me,
No.
not easy to do with pen. So, let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wanted to. Now, tell us a little bit about this one, June.
Well, this is from you. You post the picture.
Uh-huh.
I used the chalk to did this.
Okay, you mean like Conte?
Hmm?
You mean Conte?
Yeah, contact that you provide from the we are class, our
Yeah.
class.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's a nice striking drawing. you know, you got a good range of value from the light into the shadow. And again, you know, you pick up that reflected light on the jawline. And you kept, you know, this outside edge here, you've kept soft, so it moves back and the cheekbone and everything moves forward. So the drawing, you know, as far as the structure and stuff go, you know, is working really kind of nicely. And, you know, just, you know, your observations are getting better, you know,
Thank you.
with your values. You know, here's another one of your drawings. Okay. And again, you know, you know, this is a very kind of very strong, very striking drawing. And, you know, I'm not talking about all the proportions and the, you know, the anatomy and stuff like that, but just the feeling of the drawing is real powerful. And, you know, there's an expression, you know, to this person. And, you know, the drawing really has a lot of impact. So nice job.
It looks like a person is having
Thank you.
math problems.
It looks like a person who's having what kind of problems?
Having problems.
Okay, don't
Maybe,
we all?
maybe she's drug addicted or something.
Or maybe she's, you know, maybe she just heard some bad news.
Well, I mean, yeah, but well, yeah, I heard bad news last night myself, but
Yeah. Or maybe she's tired of being locked in quarantine.
one of my brother-in-laws died last night while cutting the grass.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Don't know why he was cutting the grass at night, but
Cooler.
Maybe it's cooler, yeah. So,
it's the way they do it in South Carolina.
yeah. Well, you know, the heat of the day, you know.
Would you put a little light in the right eye because the light is shining on
In the right
hand?
eye?
I'm sorry?
You could, you know, maybe
I
on,
mean, a little light, you know, because the forehead and the nose are so light right there.
Yeah.
Put a little light in the eye.
yeah, you could put a little highlight, like a
Right.
reflected light, or you could just lighten the iris, like right in there a little bit.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, again, yeah, again, you know, it's a little thing, you know, but
Yeah, but
it could help. It could help make that eye feel more round. Sure.
nice feeling to that. I love that.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
like that drawing very much. Good
Yeah,
feeling.
It's like I said, it's a really striking drawing. It kind of actually, you know, in looking at this drawing in particular, it sort of looks like one of the drawings that Pablo Picasso would have done, you know, when he was younger. It just has kind of that feeling to it. This is Naomi. Are you here, Naomi?
Yes, yes.
All right, so tell us about this guy.
Oh, I just copied it from an illustration. But now that I'm looking at it, the nose needs to be, nose is bad and the cheek. I think I put a little pastel on it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Or something, some
yeah.
kind of color on it. Okay, so Naomi, are you sitting down?
Yes.
Good. Okay, because I don't want you to fall down. You're getting better.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you've actually kind of got the center line of the face. It's beginning to kind of, you're getting that idea where the center line of the face is kind of where it belongs. So,
You mean I have to work on my proportions?
no, what I'm saying is that, yes, you could work on your proportions,
My
but
proportions.
But in this particular drawing, the center line of the face kind of feels like it's getting close to the right place. You know, you seem to have a hard time with drawing heads that are not directly straight on or directly profile. You know, when you start doing these 3/4 angles and things, you know, you're always kind of getting the center line of the face off. And,
Oh,
and this
okay.
one's getting this one's getting better.
Well, thank you.
Okay, and this head feels like it's got a little bit of form to it. So, you know,
You think maybe she could sharpen some of the edges?
she could, you
Just-
know, but I'm happy with the fact that she's getting the center line of the face where it kind of belongs, because that's been a big struggle for her. Like I said,
Go drink a beer.
who, me or her?
Naomi,
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
go have a beer or margarita or something.
Yeah, that's coming for me. That's coming right after the class. So, well, maybe not right after the class, but you know,
I'll join you at the little pub.
you will, huh? Okay, yeah, but yeah, much later this afternoon. I'm going to be. It's going to be Friday. So, now again, now this is June's, and again, you know, the proportions and everything. Yeah, okay, you know, she has an odd looking head. But again, you know, even though the anatomy is not right, you know, or, you know, isn't really correct to what normal human proportions would be, again, you know, this drawing has a lot of emotional impact to it, you know, along with this
I like
age.
that.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. Now, one of the things when we were looking at the videos this morning, they talked about
Yeah, this
the
distance.
yeah, the distance, you know, from the nose to the back of the head should
Yeah.
be about the same as from the
Same.
chin
Yeah.
to the top of the head, right? And so this looks a little narrow, right?
Yes.
But yeah, and kind of this one's closer,
Yeah.
not quite there, okay, but you got the right idea. And then that looks like a drawing from a Botticelli painting. Okay, it looks like one of Botticelli's models.
I like it.
Yeah, no, it's
I kind of like that one.
I do too.
I do too.
And the thing is, in this drawing, it's foreshortened. So you're seeing the bottom plane of the nose, and you're seeing a much more pronounced upper lip, again, because her head's tipped back. So it feels much thicker than you would if you were looking straight on somebody. Okay. Now we get to talk about somebody.
It's cute.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, this is Larry's drawing of a little boy from Brooklyn. And Larry, I have to honestly tell you, okay, you're getting better at handling that pencil, man.
Cute.
Yeah. I mean, you know, just the subtlety and the values, like here in the tie, the pen, you know, and just it's not looking scratchy. You know, you're beginning to lay in really nice soft tones and stuff.
Can you
Looks
see the
beautiful.
picture I'm holding up?
I can't see you, so the answer to that would be no. Let's see, Larry, where are you?
Right here.
Well, you stay right there. I'm going up and down the list of people here. Oh, there you are. Okay. Yeah, I see a picture. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what you took it off of?
Yep, and I found it on, what was it, Prius, I believe it is, under children. Photographs of portraits of children.
Oh, okay. All right. Or you mean Proco?
Is that, I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's where you buy art off of.
Oh, you buy art off of it. Okay, not sure.
Etsy? Is it on Etsy?
Etsy?
Etsy.
Prius, or is that it?
Etsy.
Yes.
ETSY. Yeah. Etsy.
Oh, ETSY? That's Etsy. Okay.
Etsy.
Etsy. Anyway, all right. Okay, now I get it. All right. I'm slow sometimes. All right. So,
But you're still moving.
huh?
But you're still moving.
Yes. Yes, we keep making progress in spite of everything. All right. So yeah, there's your still life that, you know, you were pulling what little hair you had out, you know, because you don't like to do still lifes. Did you do anything to this?
No, I haven't sent anything else in. I mean,
I
I
know.
sent some other stuff,
Yeah,
but
but
you haven't gotten close to it. You haven't gotten to it yet.
I haven't.
Brand new stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's another Naomi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Naomi has been keeping her husband busy.
That's your husband?
No, but her husband has got a full-time career of scanning her artwork and emailing me. He sends me like 20 emails a day. So yeah, Stan is busy. So, but Naomi, tell us a little bit about this.
Oh, I just copied off of another painting, but you'd never know from the painting that I copied it that the painting I copied it off of didn't have a face. It was just blank.
Yeah.
And I detailed the flowers, so I just did my own thing.
As you always do.
Yes.
Which is just fine. You Naomiized it, and that's.
It's a small, but I'm doing these small little 4x6, a little, because you said that you could still learn from a small drawing or painting. So I'm working on that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, you've got the same problems to solve,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. It's just repetitively kind of solving those problems over and over and over again, till you get really good at it. So, anyway, but now is this a watercolor?
This is the watercolor pencil.
Oh, okay. All right, your new toys. All right,
Yeah, my new toy, right?
there we go. Yeah, you were telling us about those last week, I think. And then this looks like it's probably the same thing, right? Watercolor pencil.
Yeah, watercolor pencil.
All right, here with it. Let's. Okay, now I can move it. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're getting some nice effects with those. Now.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and it's easy. I mean, I sit watching, listening to all the terrible news, and I calm myself down by doing this.
Okay. All right.
On my lap, you know, I'm doing it.
Okay. And we talked about her the other day.
Yeah.
She's pretty remarkable, actually. You know, the more I look at her, the more I like her. She's definitely got some
It's
attitude.
fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a really nice little drawing. So now, is this in your? This was with the old pencils, right?
This was not watercolor, right? That's
Right.
the old one. I just have to get better with the watercolor pencils.
So
The
tell
next
everybody.
one,
So I want you to tell everybody what you did differently with this one that you hadn't done previously.
more value on this one.
Yeah, but how did you do that?
Oh, okay. I did it lightly with the light blue and darker with the dark blue, and the hair too. I had a light touch on the bottom, darker on the top, and I went over some of it with different colors. But
Right.
I ordered 120 watercolor pencils, and they're going to come August 25th.
Oh, okay.
So then I'll really go crazy.
I see. Okay. Well, the thing you kind of hit on it. When you're using color pencils, you're not gonna get the effect you want by just using one color and just making one pass at it. You got to build those up, and you may end up going over the drawing and building up those colored pencils 5 or 6 or 7 or even more times to really get enough of the medium down there to really get a nice solid feel to it.
Have you ever done watercolor pencils?
Yeah, I have.
So you never dip the pencil in water though, correct?
You could. You know, normally I don't. I usually work.
You don't.
With it, yeah, normally I work with it dry, and then I'll take a brush with water and I'll either drop water into it and push it around, and or I'll just take a little bit of water on the brush and blend it, you know, right there on the paper.
Well, when I get my 120 watercolor pencils, then it'll be easier to have different values,
Yeah.
different colors. It was $35 on Amazon.
Okay. All right.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you just say that you work on your watercolor, so you use a watercolor pen, so as a color pencil and just color it first, then you drop water to smooth it
This
out.
one was just colored pencil.
Yeah, this one is
This-
colored pencil,
This
but
is colored pencil, but I decided I'm going to try the watercolor. Now, the next one, the girl that looks upside down, can you turn her around
I
in the
will.
dress? The
I
next
will.
one is watercolor,
Yeah.
watercolor pencil.
But to answer your question, Linda,
Yes.
yeah, you can. Watercolor pencils are actually a really nice medium to work in. You know, because what you can do is you can start off with traditional watercolor and you can, you know, put in big blocks and shapes of color and then work over it with the pencil and then go back in with more water and soften those into your regular watercolor and just keep working in layers. Or you could just start off with the pencil, you know, as more of a drawing and then soften areas of that drawing, you know, with the water. So let's say that I really wanted to kind of do a portrait, right? And
Yes.
so I would, you know, do the basic drawing of the face in maybe like a color, you know, that's kind of neutral and, you know, just figuring out where everything is. And then, you know, I'd build on the hair and the body, and then I'd go back in and add more color, you know, in the face area, right? And and so, you know, once that drawing is kind of to that stage, let's say I wanted to, again, you know, just focus on the face. Maybe I would leave the face pretty much alone, but I'd take the water along the edge and just kind of blur or, you know, soften, you know, the other parts of the drawing. Again, so that your focus goes to, you know, that face. You know, so there's lots of different ways of working with it. And, you know, because it is a water-soluble medium, you know, you can soften, you know, different parts of the drawing. That just because you're working with a combination of the pencil and the water doesn't mean you have to soften everything back, okay? You can be selective, you know, about what that is, okay?
Okay, so I can use a watercolor pencil the same way as an ordinary color pencil, but later on I soften it with the water.
You can, yeah.
And shade it.
Yeah, you can,
Okay.
yeah. And that's
I mean, I only have one lesson on watercolor, but I wanted to try it on. Then I wasn't very good at controlling it, but I bought a few watercolor pencils thinking of how to do it. I may try it though. Thank you.
yeah, and see, that's the advantage of working with both watercolor and the watercolor pencils together, because again, you can be very loose, kind of gestural with your initial watercolor, and then you can go back in and tighten up areas with the watercolor pencil and be more accurate. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to kind of skip ahead because we've done a lot of these from Naomi. Yeah, we talked about, well, these are fairly new. Yeah, these.
Oh, you went over them.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, a little bit. Susan. I saw Susan here earlier. And these are some drawings that she did. And this was it looks like a charcoal. Susan, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, there you are.
Figure out how to unmute.
So-
It's charcoal, and I did erasing. I did all charcoal, and then I started erasing for the.
Yeah, you lifted it out. Okay. All right. How big is this? What
This-
size?
Huh?
How large is this drawing?
It's probably
Just roughly, you know.
an 8 by 11.
Okay. All right. So not a real big drawing, just kind of a,
No, no.
yeah, when I work with charcoal, I like a big piece of paper, you know, so I can really get in there and kind of push it around, you know, a little bit. I'm going to show another drawing. Now this is a landscape, and again,
That's charcoal also.
yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, probably about the same size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you're in both of these drawings, you know, you're getting some good ranges of value. You know, the strong darks, the middles, the lights. You know, so you're handling that, you know, really pretty nicely, and they feel like good, solid little drawings, or big drawings if they were, but still, you know, good, solid drawings. You know, I'd like to see you do more, you know, not on these drawings, but do more charcoal and really
Yeah,
kind
I
of.
don't have charcoal here. I was doing that in a class.
Oh,
I've got pencils here. I've got.
okay. Well, all right. So try to do some more drawings,
Okay.
even with graphite. You know, whatever you've got, and try to push the range of value, right? Very light to very dark. You know, and try to do it from life so that you can, you know, actually really get some of the subtlety of the form, and whether that's a still life or whether that's getting somebody to sit down, you know, and fall asleep in front of the TV or whatever that is, you know, that you got to do. You know, then, you know, work with that a little bit more. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, and then these are some pieces of fruit that you did, and these are color pencil, right?
Right. Color pencil.
Okay. Yeah, and you know, we were talking about Naomi's color pencil drawing, you know, before, and how, you know, she layered the color a little bit, and I can see, you know, you're doing kind of the same thing here, you know, working with different pencils and things. And that's good because it's helping to push the form. The only thing about, you know, like this drawing is I'd say when I squint my eye down, you're getting a little bit of the round form in this apple, but it's like you could push some of the darks back here a little bit darker. Same thing with the back side of the lemon and the pear. You know, the value doesn't change that much across it. And so you could push that more, and it would feel more three-dimensional. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And is Wanda here? No? Maybe? Yes? Wanda, where are you? Yeah, she didn't show up today. Okay. Yeah, I've shown this before. I keep wanting to catch her on a Friday because I want to, you know, I want to find out what's going on with this. You know, it's a nice figure, and I like the idea. And she's kind of, I think she's kind of making it a mixed media piece, but I don't really know. So, anyhow. So that's the last drawing I had to share. But for those of you who were not here earlier in the week, okay, I wanted to share some of the drawings by this guy that we had talked about, Casey Bao, and have you guys take a look at them again, because he does some really amazing stuff. Now, he works in a particular technique where he's doing, these are all charcoal, and he's using a wet medium called acetone, okay? Now, I don't really recommend that you go out and you get a gallon or quart of acetone, unless you can work somewhere that's, you know, got really good ventilation, because acetone can be, it's got a lot of fumes to it, and so it can be kind of hard, you know, on you know, anybody who has a hard time breathing. So if you do this, be careful. The other thing you can use, though, is you can use like isopropyl alcohol. You can also use terpenoid if you're an oil painter. And, you know, any of those will begin to dissolve that charcoal. And the thing, you know, I like about it is, you know, he has this really kind of organic texture, and then he still gets, you know, really nice, sharp, clear edges, you know, in the focal point areas. So he's good at pushing this stuff around and kind of controlling it. And, you know, it's a fun medium to play with. Now, he's using probably, you know, like I said, a Bristol board or some kind of thicker paper so that he can get it wet, and, you know, he can work, you know, back and forth into it and lift out of it and stuff, and it doesn't fall apart. If you try to do this on a sketch pad or something like that, the paper is probably not going to hold up. So you really need like either a real smooth watercolor paper or some kind of like Bristol board, or, you know, what they call museum board, to work on, you know, if you're going to try to do something like this, because the paper's got to be a little bit tough, because, you know, you do work it quite a bit. You know, this is another one of his pieces, and you can see the basic tools he's using. You know, he's using a kneaded eraser and some charcoal pencils and a stump, you know, to do some blending. The thing he doesn't show there, though, is he's got a spray bottle, and, you know, he's just squirting the drawing every once in a while with that acetone, and that's causing these, you know, little marks, you know, and the beating up of that charcoal.
Mhm.
But also notice, you know, how a lot of times in his drawings, he gives you just enough, you know. I mean, if he's really concentrating right here on the face. So, you know, all of this just becomes kind of loose, dark shapes to sort of suggest that hair is there. You know, it doesn't really go in and try to render every little strand of hair and things like that. Same thing here. So you kind of just lose the whole back of her head, you know, in the drawing. You know, this is similar. You know, again, you know, see, this is all kind of tight and, you know, very carefully drawn. The rest
What's
of this,
his name? What's this artist's name?
Casey, Casey, Baugh, Baugh. Casey.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, he's got some great stuff. Yeah. Yeah, there's another one, you know. See, and it gives you this really nice contrast, you know, of kind of organic and very abstract and kind of loose against something that you recognize. You know, it's very representational. Yeah. Here's a guy we talked about earlier this week. His name is Richard Schmid. Now, Richard is the guy who taught Casey this technique. Okay. But Richard is a very, very good alla prima painter. And the thing that's really nice about this approach to drawing is, if you're a painter, you know, it's very painterly. You know, it feels like painting. you know, versus sitting there kind of rendering, you know, with a sharp pencil. Yeah, this is beautifully done. You know, real strong. You know, you see her face, and then her hair and everything just sort of kind of fades into, you know, this really kind of organic, kind of interesting background back there. And, you know, very similar. And then this piece. Now notice, you know, he wants the figure there, but that's not the focal point. You know, the focal point is really, you know, the skull of this ram and that she's holding. And notice how, you know, he gives you just enough of a hint of a human face. And he doesn't really, you know, he doesn't really give you like a lot of detail in any of that. It's just a suggestion that a face is there. See?
You use Conte. Can you erase it with a kneaded eraser fairly easily like you would a charcoal, or is it harder to erase to lighten it up?
No, it will lift out with a kneaded eraser. Okay. The thing about, you know, charcoal, Conte, you know, any of these drawing mediums, it's not so much about the medium as it is the paper that you're drawing on. You know, some papers like bond paper, you know, they're nice to draw on and they're convenient because they're in a pad and stuff like that, but
can't work it.
You can't work it the same way, you know, that you could like a really good piece of drawing paper or a Bristol board. You know, Bristol board, you can sit there and you can erase and erase and erase, and you'll never destroy that surface. Well, maybe not never, but you know, you really have to work at it to really mess up that surface. Bond paper, after a while, you can work it for so long, and then after that, it gives up and it just starts peeling and stuff like that. So, but you know, what I wanted to point out again, you know, was, you know, you've got a female figure there, you've got her hair, you've got, you know, some indication of the face, but that's not really where he wants you to look. He really wants you to look at, you know, these hands. It's this triangle right here, you know, and that's, you know, that's the focus of the whole piece. You know, the rest of her, you know, standing behind, you know, that skull that she's holding, you know, he gave you enough to suggest that there's a figure there, but he didn't give you a lot of details. You know, and that's kind of an important idea for you guys to begin to think about, because in most cases, you know, we try to do too much. You know, we try to put in too much detail, you know, too much information, and it takes away from the thing that we really want to focus on, right? So, you know, John Singer Sargent, Celia Bow, most of the classical painters were really good at that. You know, they would give you, you know, just enough and, you know, detail, and then the rest of it would be sort of suggested, but it would be softer, right? So it wouldn't take your eye away from the focal point. And that's something that, you know, as an artist, you need to begin to develop kind of the skill as to not to overwork stuff, not to put too much detail in, okay? Because it doesn't help you. Sometimes, you know, just the suggestion of something is a lot more powerful. Anybody got any questions about that? Is everybody still there?
We're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Yes, we're here.
Is everybody into their third margarita now? That's why we're not talking? So, all right. Well, that's it for the week. Anybody got any questions before we go away?
What you doing Monday?
What are we doing Monday? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of continuing on with that inspiration class, and I sent everybody out that flesh tone mixture.
Yes.
So I'm going to try to show some color boards, you know, of the mixtures, and you know, a little wider, a little more informational, you know, image for you guys to add to what I've already sent you. Okay. So we're going to be talking about mixing flesh tones and turning form, you know, on a figure or on a head. Okay.
Okay.
So that's right now, that's kind of what I'm focused on with you guys. If you guys have other things you want to talk about, send me an email. Okay. Give me a suggestion. All right. And I'll try to get something in about it. Okay.
Okay, okay.
All right. Other
Okay.
than that, yes.
Well, have a good weekend.
Yeah. I hope everybody has a good weekend. Stay safe. All right.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
I think it's supposed to be good weather, so
Yes.
get outside, get some vitamin D. Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you.
See you
Thank you,
Monday.
Charles.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
Charles, but it's rained every day here.
Well, just in the afternoon. You know.
And we got new pool standards. You have to wear a mask in the pool now.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, you can work on the sun on the rest of your body. Okay, not on the top of your nose.
That's going to make a hell of a tan line.
Yeah, it will be interesting. All right. You guys take care.
Bye.
Bye.